Good morning, Year 1. I hope you've all had a lovely half term and you're feeling refreshed after the break. In today's lesson, we are learning to add by making 10. We're going to begin with the anchor for learning. I would like you to match two numbers that add together to make 10. Now, there are quite a few answers here, so pause the video and see if you can find them all. And I'm now going to go through the answers. You could have had 10 and 0, 5 and 5, 4 and 6, 3 and 7, 8 and 2, and 9 and 1. Well done if you managed to find all of those. So there are quite a few different ways that we can make 10. And here we've got some examples of some number bonds to 10. Now these aren't all of the number bonds because we can switch some of these around to make new number bonds. So 6 add 4 can become 4 add 6. And 7 add 3 can become 3 add 7, and so on. There are lots of different ways that we can make 10, but you should be becoming much more familiar with these different number bonds by now. We're going to be using making 10 as a way of helping us answer some different addition problems. So for our first addition problem, 9 add 6 equals something. We're going to use these 10 frames to help us, and we're going to use the strategy of making 10. In the first 10 frame, there are 9 counters, and in the second one, we have got 6. To help us answer 9 add 6, what we can do is we can make 10. So I'm going to move this counter up here to make a complete 10 frame. So now this top 10 frame represents 10 because there are 10 counters, and the second one has 5 counters. So the answer to 9 add 6 is the same as the answer to 10 add 5. 10 add 5 is much easier for you to work out in your head than 9 add 6. And I know that 10 add 5 is 15, so 9 add 6 is also 15. We've got another example here. This time we're working out the answer to 9 add 3. You've got a 10 frame here to represent 9 and another one which has 3 counters. I would like you to have a go at making 10 using the counters and the 10 frames to see if you can work out the answer to this problem. So pause the video now and have a go. I'm now going to go through the answer. The first thing we need to do is make 10. So I'm going to move this counter up here. I've now got 10 counters here and 2 in the second 10 frame. So I know that the answer to 9 add 3 is the same as the answer to 10 add 2. I can do 10 add 2 in my head. I know that is 12. So 9 add 3 is also 12. Got another example now. This time we're doing 8 add 6. Again, we're going to begin by making 10. We've now got 10 here and 4 here. 8 add 6 is the same as doing 10 add 4. I know that 10 add 4 is 14, so 8 add 6 is also 14. Okay, now there are some missing number problems for you to try. You're using the strategy of making 10 to help you work out these answers. The first one says 9 add 5 is the same as doing 10 add something. So what you need to do here is you can use 10 frames, or you can do these in your head, whichever you feel most confident doing, and then you need to try and answer all 5. So pause the video now and have a go at those. And I'll now go through the answers. 9 add 5 is the same as doing 10 add 4. 8 add 5 is the same as 10 add 3. 8 add 7 is the same as 5 add 10. 4 add 8 is the same as 10 add 2. 2 add 9 is the same as 1 add 10. Okay, here we're going to be making 10 using number bonds again, but we're now using part-whole models to help us. So the problem we're working out is 9 add 7. We've got our 9 here, and then we have put 7 into a part-whole model. And 7 is the whole, and it is being split into 2 parts. The first thing we need to do is to work out what we add to 9 to make 10. We know that that is 1, so that goes in the first part. So 9 add 1 equals 10. What we can now do is work out what this missing part is. 1 add something makes 7. And we know that we add 6 to 1 to make 7. So we've got 10 and 6, which we now add together to make 16. If we know that 10 add 6 is 16, then we know that 9 add 7 is also 16. This time we're solving 5 add 8. We're using the same method as the last example. You're going to have a go of this one by yourselves. First thing you need to do is to think, what do I have to add to 8 to make 10? That number goes here in this part, and then you can use the 2 numbers that you've got to work out what this missing part is. And when you've done that, you can use those to work out the answer. Pause the video now and have a go. Now I'm going to go through the answer. I need to add 2 to 8 to make 10. And then to fill in the missing part, what do I add to 2 to make 5? I know that that is 3. So 10 add the 3 equals 13. If I know that 10 add 3 is 13, then 5 add 8 is also 13. Okay, for this question, It says choose a digit card to complete the number sentence below. We've been given 4 different digit cards and there are 2 number sentences. First one says 5 add something add 2 equals 12. To work this out, we can use making 10 to help us find the missing number. So these 2 numbers add together to make 10. Looking at these number cards, I know that it's 5 add 5 makes 10. And then the 10 add 2 equals 12. I'm going to use the making 10 strategy again here. 8 add something makes 10. Looking at the cards, I know that it is 2. 8 and 2 makes 10, and the 10 add 7 equals 17. This time we've got a reasoning question. It says Craig is using the part-whole model to calculate 6 add 8 by making 10. Is he correct? Explain why. So here he's got the 6 and then he's actually partitioned the 8 into 3 and 5. But what Craig should have done is he should have partitioned the 8 into 4 and 4. And we know that because 6 and 4 add together to make 10. And then by making 10, we would have just had to add the other 4. And the 10 add the 4 would be 14. So he's actually got the wrong answer here. So we can say Craig is incorrect because he has not partitioned eight correctly to make 10. The number sentence should be six add 4 equals 14. Okay, this time the question says Rachel is solving 9 add 9. She says, I need to add 1 to make 10 and then I add 9. So 9 add 9 equals 19. Find and correct her errors. Explain your reasoning. So here she's got 9 blocks to represent 9 and then she's adding 1 and then adding another 9. Now this is where she has gone wrong because she has partitioned this 9 into 1 and another 9. But we know that that's not right. She should have partitioned the 9 into 1 and 8. Because the 1 and the 8 add together to make that 9. And the 9 and the 1 make 10. So Rachel has partitioned 9 incorrectly. The correct partitioning for 9 is 1 and 8. And the number sentence to go with it would be 9, add 1, add 8 equals 18. So that's how she's ended up getting the wrong answer. Okay, so for silver today you have been shown 2 lots of 10 frames, and one is representing 6 add 7 and the other one 10 add 3. And they are showing that both calculations give the same answer. You then need to draw counters to show that 5 add 6 is the same as 10 add 1. So use 2 different colours to show how they both have the same answer. And for question 2, you need to complete these addition problems by making 10, and you can use 10 frames to help you. And then you have got some number bond problems using part-whole models. For gold, you've got some reasoning and problem-solving questions. These are very similar to the ones that we did on the previous slides, so go back to those if you're struggling. And then for platinum, you have got some more challenging questions where numbers are represented as words.